Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast with Phil Graham. We help you master Facebook ads and give you an unfair advantage over your competition. Are you ready? Let's go.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast, episode 397. I'm Phil Graham, and today I'm going to be sharing 5 Facebook and Instagram ad tests that could save you guys some money. Now, obviously, there's no guarantees when it comes to ads or business, but testing is so important when you're running ads. And these 5 simple, but I would say very powerful tests that you can do can sometimes make a really big difference. They certainly have for us. So I'm really excited to share these with you guys in today's episode. I am super glad you guys are here. Happy December 17th, or whatever day it is you guys are listening to this. And just a little note, next week, I'm going to be dropping an episode about how to run Facebook ads like Nike, but without the budget. You can even do it on a small budget. So make sure you tune into that. Now, before we jump in, if you guys are looking for some help with your ads, maybe one-on-one through coaching, or maybe you want somebody to run your ads for you, for either one of those things, you can just go to my website, philgrahamdigital.com. Or you can DM me on Instagram at philgrahamdigital, and I would love to connect with you. So I want to dive right in as usual and keep this episode short, sweet, full of value, and very actionable. And let's talk about these 5 tests that I recommend you guys run when you're running ads. Test number 1 is testing audience segmentation. So different types of audiences. Some advertisers make the mistake of only using one audience and that's it, whether that's Advantage Plus or something else. And I don't think for most advertisers, that is the right way to go, because we run lots of ads for lots of clients. And sometimes a large, broad Advantage Plus audience will work better, while other times smaller segmented audiences work way better. So you've got to test it because the data is going to help you. So I would absolutely tune out the noise that tries to get you to only target one kind of audience. There's a lot of people out there that say, just do Advantage Plus. That's all you need. I could show you tons of data of interest and segmented audiences that beat Advantage Plus. You might be losing money if you're doing that, if you're just doing Advantage Plus. I love Advantage Plus, but I test many different audiences, and then guess what? I follow the data, and I do more of what works, and I change what doesn't. And that's what I want you guys to do as well. So as you're testing different audiences, I recommend you test large audiences, small audiences, broad, segmented. When you're doing segmented tests, test an interest, a demographic, and a behavior. So just 2 or 3 things together in one audience so that you don't have too many different options, and you can test a few of those. And then while you're doing that, or depending on your budget, you could pause it and then do a different one. But regardless, you could also test a large Advantage Plus audience and maybe a lookalike audience. And then let them run long enough, let them run a couple weeks. Unless you have a really large budget, you could go shorter. See what works and keep trying and testing different audience segments until you get a good handle on what works best for your business, because that can make a big difference. Ad test number 2 that I recommend, of course, is creatives. This is kind of a no-brainer, but I still need to mention it because it's so important. So testing different creatives, whether that's images, videos, thumbnails, headlines, ad angles, and ad copy. Even one little change to any of those things can sometimes make a big difference. I've literally changed one word in a headline, or added an emoji, or changed one little word in a hook, and sometimes it had a dramatic difference one way or the other. So if you can change one word or one little thing and have a dramatic difference in some situations, shouldn't you be testing lots of different things? It's really important, you guys. I cannot emphasize this enough. Make sure you're testing not only with your ads, but also on your landing pages as well. Headlines, hooks, ad angles, all those things can make a big difference for you guys. Ad test number 3 is testing different placements. So when we run ads, we typically go to all placements, like Advantage Plus placements. That's my go-to. That's what I like doing the most, and that can work really well. But sometimes we will also run ads to just specific placements, either because we're testing it or I've done a breakdown based off of the ad data and I've seen that a certain placement is doing really well already, or maybe it's not getting enough budget and so I want to force some budget to really test it. One of the most common placements that I test when I'm not just doing Advantage Plus placements is stories and reels. And yes, there's other placements you can test too, but that's a great place to start. But make sure that you guys do some placement testing. Advantage Plus is a high recommendation for placements, but also test stories and reels and a few other placements and see how that works for you. Because for us, sometimes a different placement makes a huge difference. Okay, ad test number 4 is testing an ad objective. So when you set your objective, that helps Facebook know what to optimize. And sometimes what you think is going to be the best one doesn't always work out that way. It's obvious that if you're selling something, doing conversions, doing a sales optimization is kind of a no-brainer. However, I will say that it doesn't always work best. It is my go-to objective, yes, but I've had times where I've done traffic or engagement or video views or something else, and in certain situations, it actually produced a better result and better return on ad spend. And I never would have known that if I didn't at least try it. So what I recommend is whatever your main ad objective is, okay, keep going with that. But every once in a while, test a new objective, something a little bit different, and see how that does. And just make sure you give it enough time. But testing different objectives is something that we have done where sometimes it just like blows your mind. Great things can happen. So I highly recommend you guys do that. And then last but not least, ad test number 5 is testing your calls to action in your ads. Whether this is a lead ad, a sales ad, or anything else, if you have a call to action that is just not very strong, or maybe it's not worded very well, maybe it's just not very good. Everything else could be perfect, but you might fail or lose money because of it, or just leave money on the table. So make sure that you're testing not only your ad copy, not only your hooks and visuals and all that stuff, but your call to action. When you're asking for the sale or asking for the lead, this includes on your landing pages and sales pages, not just the ads. Make sure you're testing what you're saying and how you're saying it, because I'm telling you, these things can make a dramatic difference. You should always be testing something. If you're testing something, you're going to learn, you're going to get smarter, you're not going to do things based off of just randomness, and that should help you become a much better advertiser as long as you test and then follow the data. So when you test properly, it can help you guys identify what's working, what's not. You can figure out why, and then you can really focus in on what works and scale that and change what doesn't. Testing, my friends, is part of the secret sauce, in my opinion, of success. So make sure you guys are doing that when you're running ads. Episode 397 is in the books. Thank you guys so much for being here. I will talk to you on next week's episode. Until then, have a great rest of your week. If you want to get in touch, philgrahamdigital.com is the website, or you can DM me on Instagram at philgrahamdigital. We'll talk to you soon. Peace out.
Thanks for listening to the Next Level Facebook Ads Podcast. Please remember to subscribe and share this with all your friends. For show notes, more tips, and to learn more about Phil, please visit philgrahamdigital.com/podcast.